Well, time now for Sunday Night Sport with Abby Dinham. And Abby, Australia's cricketing women have paid tribute to Shane Warne in the most perfect way.
And good evening, Janice. They certainly have. After one of the toughest lead-ins to any game following the deaths of Shane Warne and Rod Marsh, Australia beat the defending World Cup champions England to begin their campaign in style. Rachel Haynes led the way with a superb century, and it was leg spinner Alana King that starred with the ball, taking 3 wickets in her first World Cup match.
A minute's silence for a lifetime's genius. For Australians in particular, Shane Warne gave so much happiness. Right now, they're dealing with the pain. But the game he loved, goes on. Australia's women had a World Cup to try and win. This was a good start. Their batters piled into England. Rachel Haynes made a century. As a girl, Warne was her hero. Australia's total of 310 was imposing. England's Tammy Beaumont set off in pursuit, but like Warne, Alana King is a leg spinner from Victoria. And this was a delivery that turned back time. Stumped by Alyssa Healy, whose uncle Ian used to do the same for Shane.
Shocking news to wake up to this morning. Obviously, we knew that Rod Marsh had passed away, and he's such a big figure in Australian cricket. And then it was just, utter shock this morning when we heard that Shane Warne had passed away. So it's obviously been a really difficult couple of days for Australian cricket.
That England got close was due largely to Nat Siver. Her 100 took England to the last over, needing 16 to win. They managed only 3. A poignant day was Australia's day.
He inspired me to pick up leg spin and have fun at it. And it was just awesome to be watching when I was growing up. And I can't say much more than that.
And perhaps this team have given Shane Warne the greatest tribute of all of those offered, beating the English.
Patrick Geary with that report. But while there was joy with the Australian women's team, the men are facing an uphill battle after day 2 of the test against Pakistan. The host nation had Azhar Ali to thank as he scored a big century before Pakistan declared at 4 for 476. Ali topped scoring with 185. Australia reached 5 without loss at close. Ukrainian athletes have called for peace after clinching 7 medals on an emotional first day of the Games. The action continued today with the host nation rising above Ukraine on the medal tally.
Ukraine's biathletes made it a clean sweep in the men's vision-impaired event. There are only 20 Ukrainian athletes in the Games in total, which made their achievement all the more remarkable. After crossing the line, they each dedicated their medals to the people back home as the Russian invasion continues. Emotional scenes too for Ukrainian-born Oksana Masters. Competing for the United States, she made up for her silver medal in Pyeongchang with gold in the women's biathlon sprint sitting competition. Australian Patrick Jensen flew home to earn a 6th-placed finish in the men's Super G vision-impaired event. Gold going to Britain's Neil Simpson.
Here comes Simpson and he's in by 0.4 of a second.
China's rise to the top of the medal tally was aided by Shang Meng Chu's gold in the women's Super G standing event.
1684 is under real threat. This is going to be a big run from Zhang.
China's Liang Jingyi went first in the men's event, and his time was never bettered as China raced to its 6th gold of the Games so far.
Must carry that momentum from the previous section as best they can.
Connor Hogan of the United States did his best to catch him.
50 points. Big hit. Hogan, that is a...
But there was a lengthy delay after he crashed off the course before being cleared of serious injury. John Baldock, SBS World News.
To the medal tally now, and midway through day 2, China leads the way ahead of Ukraine, with Japan rounding out the top 3. WNBA All-Star Brittany Griner is reportedly facing 5 to 10 years in a Russian prison. Local news reports say Griner was detained last month on drug smuggling charges after vape cartridges containing cannabis oil were allegedly found in her luggage. Her Phoenix Mercury team have issued a statement saying they're closely monitoring the situation. Just 4 points separate the top 3 sides in the AFLW after round 9 of the season. Brisbane booked its spot in the finals with a 36-point win over North Melbourne, while the Crows returned to the top of the ladder narrowly, beating Collingwood. The Crows made a lightning start, scoring the opening 2 goals of the contest. The Pies did hit back despite trailing 16 points to 0 at quarter time. Adelaide, though, held on for a 2-point win. A record-breaking night for the Demons, the side becoming the first in the AFLW to break 100 points. Daisy Pearce booted 5, Taylor Harris 3, the 88-point winning margin, also the biggest in competition history.
Other days where our offence has been all right, but other things have let us down. But we really wanted to bring it all together today for 4 quarters, and I felt like we did that.
While the Western Bulldogs have kept their finals hopes alive with a 60-point victory over West Coast. In round 2 of the NRLW today, St George made it back-to-back wins to start the season. The defending champions, the Brisbane Broncos, overpowered Newcastle. The Titans were 10-point winners against the Roosters, and the Dragons kept Parramatta scoreless in their clash. Rachel Pearson was the star of the show for St George. She scored a first-half try, which she converted. Then, despite torrential rain, she kicked 2 second-half penalties to round out the win, which keeps her side level on points at the top with Brisbane tomorrow morning. And that's the day in sport, Janice.
Thanks so much, Abby. Coming up, there were the details and a new exhibition dives into the archives.